Today is the day we find out whether Larry Krasner will be reelected as the district attorney of Philadelphia. Now, this is an important election, especially when you consider how Republicans and the police union are fighting very aggressively to ensure that he does not get reelected. In fact, John Nichols at The Nation writes that the stakes are so high because Krasner has been so outspoken in his criticism of police violence and prosecutorial misconduct, and so ardent in advancing reforms that have made his office a national model for reformers. And so what has he done so far? Why does he get this glowing complimentary coverage in the nation? Well, he fired 31 prosecutors in his first week in office. He eliminated cash bail for people accused of many misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies. He announced that his office would no longer seek criminal charges against Philadelphians caught with marijuana. He initiated a review of sentences from past prosecutions with an eye toward reducing jail terms. His conviction integrity unit exonerated a score of innocent people who'd been jailed by his predecessors. He sued big pharma companies to make them take responsibility for harm caused by the opioid epidemic. He asked the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to declare the death penalty unconstitutional. So he represents everything that the police union and conservatives despise, and they are fighting aggressively to make sure that he doesn't get to serve another term.
Yeah, this one's super important. So by the way, it's tomorrow, so if you live in Philly, make sure that you vote. It's really, really important. It's not like a random local election that doesn't have consequences. It has national consequences. So he tried all these reforms. The police union despised it. The police overall hate it. They don't want to be reformed. They want to do it the old ways. Right or wrong, guilty, innocent, who cares? Let's go, let's crack some skulls, let's put him in. We don't want any accountability. This guy's a pain in our ass, he's trying to protect the citizens. Doesn't he know we're above the law? And so of course, specifically white cops are against Larry Krasner because minority cops are on his side. And so that is very specific. And then they have a fake Democrat in the primary against him because Republicans can't win in Philly. So they have to put a Republican inside the Democratic primary and then back in with tons of money from the police unions, et cetera, et cetera. And then they smear Krasner. The cops, I don't know whether they bothered trying to actually fight crime. I don't know if they bother fighting crime anywhere, really, honestly. But then they turn around and blame Krasner and say, oh, he might have caused the violence and crime. Well, how about you guys? Isn't that your job, is to prevent crime? No, we can't do anything, man. I mean,
such a good point, Cenk. It's such a good point because there's been an uptick in crime in Philadelphia, but there's been an uptick in crime throughout the entire country. So just to give you an example, when it comes to gun violence on average is up 45% nationally. In Philadelphia, it's up 40%, which is still horrible. But to blame the uptick in violence on one person, especially when you take a look at the broader picture and you see the uptick in violence throughout the entire country nationally, you get a sense of just how ridiculous and intentionally deceptive these talking points from the police union happen to be. In fact, I do want to read you a few quotes from the police union. The Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 5 is Philadelphia's police union, and they write that the president of this police union writes, our officers have given us carte blanche to spend whatever we need to spend to be able to remove this cancer. They referred to him as cancer from the district attorney's office.
Of course, because the cops busted all those people who turned out to be innocent. And Krasner let the people go when he found out that they were actually innocent and they had evidence to show that they were innocent. Cops were like, oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, now you're gonna show the wrong people we arrest? Again, remember, whenever you see Fraternal Order Police, in the case of Philly, the minority cops are all on Krasner's side. So these are only white cops who hate Krasner. Let's be clear about that.
And the Philadelphia Inquirer, which by the way has endorsed Krasner, reports that the Fraternal Order of Police has hoisted billboards and flooded mailboxes and airwaves in a bid to oust the incumbent. It's helping fund a political action committee formed by retired cops that is the top spender in the race. It's blaming Krasner for the soaring violence in the city, as I mentioned earlier, despite the fact that Philadelphia's crime surge is in line with national trends. And as you mentioned earlier, Cenk, while the retired cops, the police union, and conservatives are backing his opponent, Carlos Vega, the black cops in Philadelphia, the National Enquirer, a number of labor groups, a number of labor unions have backed Krasner here. The Philadelphia Inquirer also reports that it's even mobilizing, meaning the opponents to Krasner, it's even mobilizing Republicans to change their voter registration to Democratic so they can back challenger Carlos Vega in the May 18th primary. And Vega, a veteran prosecutor who was fired from the DA's office when Krasner took charge, is also backed by former Philadelphia mayor and Pennsylvania governor Ed Rendell, who hired the lawyer as a prosecutor when he served as DA in the 1980s.
Yeah, Ed Rendell is a corporate Democrat extraordinaire. So it's unsurprising that he's with the power structure in Philadelphia, the old corrupt power structure, which he helped to set up as mayor of Philadelphia and then governor of Pennsylvania. If there was ever a progressive policy, Ed Rendell would immediately show up on television to fight back against it. So understand what's going on here. Vega is basically a Republican. And since they can't win under the Republican brand, they're pretending that that Republican is a Democrat in the Democratic primary. And as usual, they use the Fox News trick and the establishment Democrat trick of finding a minority to be the guy that they put out as their face for what is actually the power structure, which is almost all white. And so, including, as we've been telling you, the Fraternal Order of Police. Isn't it interesting that the one incredibly strong union in the country is the one that protects the property rights of the powerful? So all the unions fighting for higher wages for you guys, crushed, not powerful, etc. The Fraternal Order of Police and all the unions that are cop unions, very powerful, can't be messed with, can spend millions of dollars to knock off a prosecutor who would actually uncover their crimes. They're the one union that's strong because it protects the property of the powerful. Okay, the idea that they're protecting your lives, I wish that were the case. Far too often, it's nowhere near the case. And that doesn't have to do with the individual cops. It has to do with the system and the structure. And when anyone is a threat to that system, which is exactly what Larry Krasner is, this is what they do. They come for him with everything they've got. That's why that election is so important. If he wins, it sends a message to everybody: going progressive is the right direction, and actually supporting the people can work. If the bad guys win, then it sends the message, oh, well, don't worry about any progressives winning as prosecutors. We'll just spend millions against them later. We'll smear them, we'll lie about them, we'll get the cop union to attack them, etc. And we'll just assassinate their character and their basically candidacy and their careers, and then we'll be done with it. And so that gets decided in Philly tomorrow. So I would encourage everybody to go out and tell everybody too, if you live in Philly, to go vote for Krasner, because the whole country's on the line in that election, honestly. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.